It is Tuesday evening, the 13th of January, and I wanted to make this video to review the trades that we made today in our trading plan. These levels are exactly what we discussed in our morning trading plan this morning as the market was opening. And as the market was opening, I was placing this trade. But I wanted to review, kind of bring you up to speed as to what we did today with what we talked about, and compared to what we talked about first thing this morning, because it was the same thing. We talked about these areas of resistance here between 2051 and 2055. They marked the day today perfectly, as well as support here at 2015. So let us begin the day. In fact, I was making the video right around in here where I had taken profits on these 2040 calls that we established on Monday. Down around in support, we had an area here where the market reached down and failed to violate and go through this 2015 area, change of momentum to the upside. I established a long position in the market by buying the 2040 calls. We bought them at 4 and sold them at 10 this morning, which was fantastic. And then just when the market was about to opening, we pulled off of this resistance a little bit. We had this formation here right at support, and we started to move forward here with a little bit of momentum here at the open. And I established 2055 calls with the idea that if we violated and went through this area of 2036, then we would see this next area of resistance at 2051 to 2055. And that's how we work these levels. If we go through one area, well, we look for the market to go to the next one, which is exactly what we did here this morning in fairly short order. Now, I'm showing a 30-minute chart because I wanted to show a few days worth of activity and show really how these levels have framed up this market and continue to do so very nicely. But let me go down to a 5-minute chart because I want to examine this area a little bit closer. So without changing anything else, all I did was switch from a 30-minute down to a 5. And you can see the reason why I wanted to take profits in here. We had a little bit of a reversal bar pattern here right at the resistance level of 2051, and that's where I sold the 2055 call. So these labels are going to be a little skewed here a little bit because I went from a 60-minute or a 30-minute chart down to a 5. So these are going to be off here a little bit, but you can see the pattern in here right at resistance. We saw the market pull back a little bit and with far less momentum. And I really don't use momentum indicators all that much in my work, but I do show them in the room here because they allow someone that hasn't been looking at the market for 30 years to see changes in momentum. And you can see how we have a peak here, just about a double top, but you can see how far down this oscillator is from the previous high. So there's quite a bit of difference here in fall off in momentum. It was going straight up here and then it just went sideways, indicative of a turn. And so I established 20-30 puts here thinking that we would come back down into this area, and if we did, I could double the profits on that. We went from 5 to 10 in there, and we had a little bit of a support. The trading activity in here went right up and did not go through this area of resistance. So what was resistance before broke through it, became resistance again after the market went down. And this is kind of the thing that I look for. If this is going to be violated, I want to see a move down through it. I want to see trading activity back up to the area that's in question, but not above it, and then put a reversal bar or two, and then start to go down from here. That's exactly what we did here this morning. I bought 2015 puts, and I doubled those, buying those for 5. So there were a couple of times here in which we had some great runs here with some great moves with very little risk on the table. And so once we got down into this area, got a little bit more for the options because it was going down so fast down in here. But isn't it interesting how we've talked about this 2015 area, and when finally the market shook itself out, it went a little bit further down, but where it finally found its balance, its quiet equilibrium, isn't it interesting that it's right about here at this 2015 area that we've been talking about in our trading plan? And so I do encourage you to visit the site. Go into the members area. You click the login button on the right-hand side of the navigation bar. It's going to ask you for a password, username and a password, and I've provided that in the email that I sent out. And this is what you can visit each day by subscribing to the service. It'll give you the table, which represents the value of the lines on the screen, both in the trading room and in the morning trading plan. And by clicking on this area here, it'll play the video that I created first thing this morning, and it details our trading plan, exactly the levels that are on this table and on the review video that I just showed. And it really does frame up this market very nicely. It gives us a specific framework from which we're going to work. One thing I've done to improve our program and our service is to include access to a real-time trading room. It doesn't change the cost of the service, but it's a real good way in which I can communicate exactly my trading plan by way of live charts. And so by clicking into this area, it'll take you into a portal that I invite you to visit, and you can see in real time our charts, my notes. I don't speak into it. It's a presentation only system, but you do see all the notes that I make and exactly what we're looking to see as they happen and as they unfold.